What up, YouTube Elleix? Come back at you with yet again another custom StarCraft 2 cast. Now, it took me a lot of effort to peel myself off of Oblivion Remastered to do this one today. I'm clinically addicted to that game, like to a concerning degree, but it's okay. We managed to do it, and we are here. Today, we've got a couple 2v2 matchups featuring the Scion Custom Races mod. If you're not familiar with this mod, it puts 3 new playable races into the StarCraft universe, all 3 of which are showcased in this first matchup, which is sick. Let's go ahead and quickly introduce our teams. Team number 1, spawning on the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's our red Xayid player InanisLetor with his ally spawning just to his left. It's our blue Zerg player artemblack. Going up against team number 2, spawning on the top left-hand side of the map, it's our teal Genetron player Kytrion with his ally spawning just to his left. It's our purple Keiron player Fireally. Am I seeing something crazy here? Yes, I am. Kytrion, you're taking your allies' gas. Are we getting trolled right now? He hasn't even taken a gas of his own. And what is this? He's also proxying. He's doing a double manufacturer proxy. What are we seeing right now? A triple manufacturer proxy. This is the equivalent of like a triple barracks proxy. I suspect we will see Spitfires come out of these things. Spitfires, by the way, are kind of like your Marine equivalent. Except they don't shoot down, and they take 2 supply, and they cost 100 minerals. So they sound a little bit more like a zealot, but they're ranged. They have like a machine gun. Also, evidently, Fireally can mine off his allies' gas structure. So that must be something I evidently missed in a balance patch. Either way, I'm having a big case of what the fuck right now. But it's okay. We move on. We adapt, and we overcome. Now, Fireally is taking the other Vespene geyser with a formulator. So this Keiron player is mining off a filtering plant and a formulator. And it looks like Kytrion has now taken a gas of his own. I'm going to try not to fixate on that as much as I can, but no promises. Also, I was correct. We have Spitfires on the way for our Genetron player, and this wasn't scouted by team number 1. Team number 1 is playing, I think, a bit more of a macro style play, and this hasn't been scouted yet. But this Overlord, oh man, I just gotta see you fly in. I just gotta see you fly into the main base. You would get so much information, artemblack, for your team. I mean, we do have the Zerglings at the very least. What do we have for the Keiron player, actually? Not much. There is a flying structure here, though. So the outlet, fun fact about the Keiron is their flying structures are literally flying, as you can see with this indicator right here. So it's really cool. You can actually run under them. Maybe not so cool for the Keiron if you're trying to defend yourself against Zerglings, which is probably what's going to happen. A couple roamers on the way as well for our Xayid player. This converter will go down. And they will scout that there's at least 1 base, but this is kind of late, right? I mean, it seems kind of late considering that team number 1 is going for more of a macro play style, and you have 1 Citadel, which is halfway finished. These Zerglings trying to run home. 3 of them do get away, 1 of them sacrificing itself to these pariahs and the Pulsar. The Pulsar is a really cool unit, by the way. It does shoot and move at the same time, and Kytrion with so many Spitfires already. How many do we have on the field? 9 of them. We have how many roamers, though, on the field? 8 roamers. So, oh, here they are. I was going to say, I want to see these roamers doing some scouting, and yes, here they are. Now, the roamer has a really powerful scouting ability called Scour, which will also allow them to see in the high ground if they need to, but the Spitfires making themselves known immediately. A pull of drones by artemblack, but these drones will not be able to do much against the Spitfires. There's just way too many right now. How many in this engagement? I think this is virtually all of them except for 1. So how many is that? At least 10, I think. I'm not going to count that right now because we have action to pay attention to here. They don't even have to kite the Zerglings. The roamers might be the ones to save the day, though. We'll see. A few more roamers running back home to defend this. A big worker pull as well. All of these Spitfires going down, and it looks like team number 1 was able to hold that cheese at the cost of 1 base. Oh, and we also have an Aurora on the back of this from the Keiron player with now 7 kills. And I don't think anything really shoots up here except for what is soon going to be a Spore Crawler. The Aurora, though, Oh, just barely getting caught by that Spore Crawler. I was going to say Fireally was moving it pretty well, but just a little bit off with that timing. More Spitfires here going down, and I think InanisLetor immediately sees the direction that these Spitfires are coming from and has a feeling that they are on this side of the map, and his game sense would be correct. A couple more flying units from the Keiron player here, though. Oh, man. Okay, and these workers are not moving at all. This is rough. So these Auroras just having at it with all these workers. InanisLetor, I think, has his eyes on some other part of the map. To be fair, he's dealing with a lot right now. Oh, no. So while they did hold for a second, I mean, this proxy is pretty much done, but the air support from the Keiron player is kind of goated right now. The entire mineral line, by the way, absolutely wiped, and this is going to cripple InanisLetor. Once he runs out of minerals, I feel like that's pretty much it. 3 more Spitfires on the scavenger nest, but I don't think they really care so much about the scavenger nest. I mean, taking a look at the production tab, do we have any anti-air coming from team number 1? That's really what they need right now. Otherwise, these Auroras are basically going to win the game. InanisLetor throwing out the GG. artemblack leaving the game as well, giving the victory to team number 2. What a sick match that was. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys for the next game. All right, you guys, welcome to game number 2. The teams did switch up races and players on us, though, so let's go ahead and quickly reintroduce them. Team number 1, spawning on the top left-hand side of the map, it's our purple Protoss player Fireally with his ally spawning just to his left. It's our red Genetron player InanisLetor going up against team number 2, spawning on the bottom right-hand side of the map. It's our blue Zerg player artemblack with his ally spawning just to his right. It's our teal Genetron player Kytrion. Now, Kytrion was the main cheese aggressor in game number 1, and he is going for an expansion this time, so it's possible he's going to play a more macro-style game. We'll see, though. This doesn't necessarily rule out a 2-base all-in, and after game number 1, I'm kind of sussed right now, so we'll see how this game goes. What do we have here as well? We have a Baneling nest on the way. Okay, so artemblack potentially going for a 2-base all-in or harassment. We'll see, though. There's nothing across the map just yet. A couple Zerglings running towards team number 1 side. I suspect these will turn into Banelings. Now, let's take a look at what we got going on in the natural base locations. Not much. They will have to run to the main base if they want to do economic damage, which Banelings this early are going to be going for the mineral lines, and they have to get into the main base to do that. Now, this is not an airtight wall. We need one more unit to make that an airtight wall. Otherwise, the Banelings will be able to break through. One thing I also forgot to mention in game number 1 is that these replays were submitted to me on my Discord. Big shout out to everybody who took part in these games. If you want me to cast any of your own games, go ahead and join my Discord. I would love to see you there. Anyway, the Banelings are finished. The Overlord will get away, and artemblack running to the natural base mineral line, seeing that there's nothing there, and is running into the main base. There was an attempt to block that off by InanisLetor, if you guys caught that. So at the very least, these Zerglings will get some good scouting information. They will see the Twilight Council. They will also see that the Cybernetics Corps is researching Warpgate. Warpgate is just about finished. And the Spitfires, this is a lot of Spitfires actually, able to corner those Zerglings and take them out. Meanwhile, Kytrion now moving out with a mole and a single Spitfire of his own. Now, in team games, usually, and by usually, I mean almost all the time, you want to be moving out at the same exact time as your ally. Otherwise, you're basically 2v1ing, right? So you want to move out as one army, not one at a time. Now, this mole has a lot of potential to do a lot of damage. This is basically a siege tank. And, I mean, this is a lot, though. The Spitfires are also really fast. They would be able to probably break the distance between the mole and, you know, the army for team number 1. So it's probably okay. I mean, this mole... Okay, now we got 2 moles, though. I would love to see them burrow and do some damage. And here we go. They are sieging up. But as I said, as I literally just described, like a prophet, The the moles got destroyed, and Kytrion saying they are so fast. Yes, the Spitfires are extremely fast, and they also have a really cool ability, actually, Deadeye module. So this increases their attack range by 1 for 8 seconds, which is really not that bad. Now, this looks like, oh man, I was going to say like almost a 2-base all-in. Are we going to see the force cancel on this hatchery? Yes, so the hatchery does get canceled, but this is not a 2-base all-in because InanisLetor is actually going for base number 3 as we speak. This hatchery at the high-yield mineral line will most definitely go down, and it looks like, I mean, they're going to try and save this. Team number 2 is going to try and save this, but too little too late, unfortunately. And yes, the Spitfires, man, they are just so crazy fast. We got some torrents on the back of this as well for support. I think these are more anti-air units than anything, though. Oh no, that poor Overlord actually surviving, and a big hit on those Spitfires as well. Quite a few going down, but this is still, I think, coming out as a positive for team number 1. Yes, a lot of resources were lost in this engagement for our red Genetron player, but we saw 2 bases effectively get shut down for the Zerg player for team number 2. So keep that in mind. The Zerg player is now stuck on 2 bases. A couple evolution chambers being planted as well for artemblack. Great use of this mole, though, on the high ground, sieging up and preventing, I was going to say preventing entry for for our red Genetron player, but unfortunately not. Also, the Luna Mine, I forgot about these things. So the Luna Mines are deployed by the Torrents, and the Luna Mine basically have a targeting system where they lock on with a little laser beam, and then they just kamikaze into whatever unit they target. So they're kind of like a sacrificial drone almost. And as far as I know, they just stay on the field for as long as they can survive. So there's no timer on them or anything like that. Now, the Virtus will definitely survive a Luna Mine hit, I think. And here we go, taking not quite half damage. Also, the Fixer here to save that Virtus. The Fixer is basically the medic for the Genetron, except the Genetron are all mechanical. So it's literally, I guess you'd say it's more like an engineer for the Genetron, but it repairs everything that the Genetron have, because the Genetron, as I said, are all mechanical. These Luna Mines, though, we haven't really seen these a lot. I believe these are more recent units for the Genetron. So the real use for the Torrent at the moment isn't anti-air so much as it is these kind of portable mines. This is actually crazy to witness. We haven't seen this on my channel lately. I think there was one other cast, I'll have to dig it up, that that featured the Luna Mine. But, I mean, these are crazy cool units. They're kind of terrifying. They move so slowly. It's kind of scary, man. These boars, though, I suspect designed to destroy the Luna Mine. And by designed, I mean intended to at this moment. Now, the boar is more of an anti-air unit than anything. Yes, it does shoot down, but that ability that we just saw, that was Ignition Blast, which basically drives the boar into whatever flying unit is in front of it and does a lot of damage. Actually, how much damage does it do? So it gains increased movement speed and deals up to 100 damage to units it comes into contact with over 2 seconds. A really, really cool ability. Now, Kytrion is working hard to prevent the Genetron from entering the natural base location. These moles are now hidden for the time being and have just re-sieged. Now, the Virtus, this is also a really cool unit. It's a tank, but it's not a siege tank. It doesn't siege up or anything like that, but it does have a healing protocol. So, self-fix protocol. Heals 150 health over 3 seconds while disabling movement and weapons. Reduces received weapon damage by 25%. So, it basically immobilizes and silences the unit while giving it a little bit more defense and heals it really quickly. One other thing to mention about the Genetron, for those of you who are not familiar with the Genetron, is they have a shared energy pool. So if your shared energy pool is depleted, you cannot use those kinds of abilities like I just described on the Virtus. It does require use of that shared energy. Now Kytrion throwing Luna mines of his own. I was confused why they weren't attacking, but look at all these mines. Can they attack each other? Yes, they can. So, I mean, at the very least, they spotted all these Luna mines. Are the Luna mines going to proc? It looks like they will not. So, artemblack with these Hydralisks taking out a lot of these Luna mines. Now, the Luna mines, as far as I know, just cost energy and no minerals, so they're almost like a free unit minus the energy cost. Yep, so they cost 75 energy, and that is it. Base number 3 finally coming down for our blue Zerg player. If there is a change in music, that is because my mic got disconnected or glitched out, is a more accurate way to put it. So I was silent for a second, but we are back. These Dark Templar, which I totally missed on the production tab, are doing some work right now. Oh, okay. I'm going to have to point out what we just witnessed here. That was from the Genetron. That is basically the nuke for the Genetron that we just saw come out from InanisLetor. But there's such a big engagement here. I'll point it out in a little while. The Ultralisk here as well going down virtually instantaneously. This is going to be a really, really rough engagement for team number 2 to hold with the support of the Protoss player on the back of all this. And a lot of the teal stuff going down. The Hydras are still alive. No nuke yet because it is on cooldown for our red Genetron player. And this, oh man, how many kills does this have? 16 kills on this Dark Templar. I wish we could see all the workers that went down. But at the very least, 16 things have died at the blades of this Dark Templar. We need a processor, dude. Okay, we got a couple processors building. The processor is basically your observer equivalent. Oh, and here we go. Another nuke. Does artemblack see this? Oh no, we gotta move the Jupiters. The Jupiters are not cheap. Here we go. So that was really stressful timing for team number 2 to deal with that. Do we have another Dark Templar? Yes, we do. How many kills on this one? 22 kills. The tech switch into Dark Templar. I am a fan of that. I use that quite often. And this might take the game home for team number 1. We'll see, though. I mean, so many units killed. And look at the expansions here. Oh, wow. Okay, you know what? We have to go back and witness that. So what we just saw, what we just missed, are the Jupiters. The Jupiters are bombers for the Genetron, and we'll see how many workers go down. Will InanisLetor do a worker pull? No, he will not. So, setting all these workers on fire, quite a few ACRs have gone down. And they fly away to live another day. How many kills on this one? 1 kill on this one and 9 kills on this one. So about 10 workers that went down, I think. Unfortunately, though, this base here, base number 3 for our blue Zerg player has gone down, putting artemblack once again on 2 bases. And I mean, this base isn't even mining. So at this point in the game, I think we need to see some sort of base race or something. I mean, this is going to be really hard for team number 2 to deal with at this point. The Colossi on the way as well. Another strike coming down on top of these Zerg units, but artemblack moving out of the way. Now, let me find that structure for you. Let's see if we can find it here. Okay, so we paused the game because there's a lot of action going on right now, and I just have to read this to you guys. So the ability that we've been seeing is the discharge ability. So this is our kind of nuke ability for the Genetron. So it fires a weapon after 8 seconds, dealing 50 damage, and then the units hit by this weapon take an additional 100 damage over 7 seconds. So it's kind of like an initial burst followed by some damage over time, which is a really cool ability. Anyway, back to the action. Just had to do a quick intermission to tell you guys about that about that ability, which is what we're seeing once again. I thought it's something that was important to point out, considering we're seeing it so often from InanisLetor. Unfortunately for InanisLetor, it will hit nothing. Meanwhile, Fireally has broken into the main base for team number 2. The Colossi going up against the Hydralisks is just really, really powerful. Luckily, though, for Kytrion, we have some Badgers and we have the Moles. The Colossus does go down, but team number 2 is still able to hold this position for the time being. But, I mean, for how long is the question? Looking at the map right now, team number 1 is expanding like crazy, especially InanisLetor. And we have a lot of units here, a lot of fixers actually. Now the fixer, although it is like your healing unit, it's also an offensive unit. It can shoot up and down. Oh, sorry, it can shoot down, but it can shoot, which is my point. So the fact that it can shoot is super cool. Also, I love the unit portraits, by the way. Base number 3, or sorry, the natural base being replaced by Kytrion. I suspect we will see a cancel on this. We should see a cancel on this. No cancel, unfortunately. That base does go down. That's 400 minerals for free for team number 1. Another hit with this Olympus. And this will actually land on a few things, I think. Yep, does hit that evolution chamber. Does have some friendly fire as well, though. And I think this must be it. Right, there's no way team number 2 holds this. This is just a crazy army. We got the classic death ball of Protoss units, and we have a bunch of Genetron units being reinforced by more Spitfires. InanisLetor throwing out the preemptive GG, but everybody knows it. Fireally throwing out the GG as well. Kytrion being a good sport about it, throwing out a GG of his own. Team number 1 taking the victory. What a crazy game number 2. If you guys enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email and Discord in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.